have set an example yourself, and that is why if it is possible, the word transformation, if it is possible, it is only possible with you. Headmasters, teachers actually build the nation. In any society, the most important thing, the work, is done by teachers and headmasters. So on that note, I firmly believe, or I would rather use the word trust. If I have to trust, I will trust teachers and headmasters. In one word, that would be my answer to people who say India cannot be transformed or India ये ऐसा ही रहेगा, देश बदलेगा नहीं. अगर ये कुछ हो सकता है तो आप ही की वजह से हो सकता है. Coming to Read India, before I start, I would like to thank Prudent Media and the Headmasters Association for this opportunity. What is Read India and why it is important for nations to be progressive? I'll just switch to the PPT. So it's a very small goal to make the nation read. It's a small goal because it is in the hands of headmasters, and headmasters and teachers can do anything. Because all people, it's a Prime Minister, Chief Minister, bureaucrats, sports, doctors, engineers, they're all created by whom? They're all created by teachers. I am what I am because of teachers. So that's why I say it's not a big deal to make the nation read, provided from nowhere out of such a huge crisis you manage to do something phenomenal by running classes on TV. It's an amazing idea. Nobody ever thought, and during crisis, that's where creativity, thinking gets you to solutions. And this program is also about read, think, act. You have read, you have thought, and you have acted. You have summarized. That is what we are saying is a simple process for success. Though it's a simplified process, but a lot goes into it, but you have demonstrated that. We are saying reading is an experience, like learning. Unless it's part of the experience, learning is incomplete. Any learning for that matter, right? Though India, boasts about the knowledge, tradition, and culture, and contribution, and all of that stuff, the harsh reality is India is one of the lowest reading habits in the world when it comes to non-academics. The emphasis is a lot more on the marks and stuff, but according to global studies and research, more than 50% of the contribution to an individual's success comes from practical reading and problem-solving skills. Right? When we say read, we are talking about three things. Reading non-academic books, because worldwide, be it the top universities of the world, academia will always be a good 1 to 2 decades behind industry. Academia can never catch up the industry because the amount of innovation or resources the industry has, the Prudent academia can never afford it. So that is why industry will always be ahead, no matter where in the world. And that is why it is important for students to understand that they have to read non-academic books. That is number one, read two. Second R is reading self. If a person does not know their strength, their weaknesses, their priorities, what they want to do and why, there's no way they will be able to use their strengths. A lot of people, students think, I was unlucky. But they don't know that they were operating from their weakness. If they know their strengths and weaknesses, they can work on them and they can use them. And that is why reading self is very important. And then third is reading situations. If you want to become a doctor, engineer, teacher, a businessman, entrepreneur, whatever, one must know how it translates on the ground. One must know how to use their strength, what skills are required, what to read. If these three reads are combined and then the thing independent happens, and when you act, then you will get optimal results. That is the awareness or the message we want to convey through an experience as part of Read India. So, another aspect of Read India is we want it to be a fun activity. The emphasis is not on learning. Learning is a natural outcome. Whatever children like to read out of fun. It could be a book, it could be a tree, it could be a auditorium, it could be a lake, a mountain, a beach, a story, an event on the ground. They can read anything as part of Read India and summarize that in a Word document or a PDF in 2 pages. Page number 1 is the learnings from the book or the story or the message. Second is they have to pick any problem of their choice and propose a solution. Like it could be a problem in their locality, community, school, or Goa or India, and propose a solution how they would fix it, solve it. That's the second page. And then we want the second submission is a video submission. We want students to make a 2-minute video with self-introduction. They can either talk about the learnings from the book or the message or their views on a topic, or a problem and solution as to why that problem is important, how they can fix it. In 2 minutes, this enhances their ability to express, tell a story. All successful people are storytellers. They have to learn how to express. When they do a video, on an average they shoot it for 5 to 10 times. So that itself drives a lot of clarity. Education that does not enable independent thinking is fundamentally flawed. I have not thought for till 40 years. I'll be very candid. I used to think getting lost in thoughts is thinking. Fundamentally, I say this because in our system, a simple example I usually take is the water. Where, I find this in all the workshops I do. Right? Sight and insight. Education has to drive sight. The difference between sight and insight. Right? It should teach kids to see things as they are. Right? When we say water, I usually ask, what is the difference between water and pani? Those who attended the last, it's not for them. Usually, what is the difference between water and pani? Jal, tanni. Same? Is it same? Yes? Language is different. Okay, language is different, but it's the same. Yes? Okay, can we say language is the container? The product is water, pointing to the same? Can we say that? Water, gel, these are names or labels or containers. The actual content is product, which is water we drink. Yes? Now, when we say Ram, Krishna, Jesus, Allah, Guru Nanak, Buddha, right? These are names, labels, containers. But what is the content? Bhakti, prayerfulness, ibadat, thankfulness. That is the content, that is the essence. These are two different things. Right? Content and container. What are the conflicts in India? Recent times. Not recent times, immemorial, there's been many wars on containers. Well, the content product remains the same worldwide. Now, somewhere, if I say the education has not been able to convey this, or somewhere there's something lacking. That is why I said there's a difference between sight and insight. And it is only through insight the difference can be known. Once the difference is known, then there cannot be any contention for the content or the container. Basically, that is what we are saying, read, act, and read, think, and act. That is what we hope to achieve from Read India. Now, coming to Read India, we started this in 2015. Over a large students participated. It was in Hyderabad, Andhra and Telangana that time, and then from 2020 onwards it was at national level. 2021 we had 3.3 lakh students registered from across India, 29 states including Union territories, even students from US, UAE, Canada, other parts also participated. These are the winners. There's 4 categories. 3rd to 5th class is one category. 6th to 9th, 10th to 12th, degree and PG. And this year we also have a category for citizens. Everyone can participate. The winner will get a laptop. The runner will get a tablet. Coming to the registration aspect and how is it possible? See, rural areas or remote areas, people say it's a problem that children do not have access to internet, even for 3rd graders and all, younger students. We are saying teachers can facilitate. Teachers can register the students. Maybe if it's at the class level 50 students, it may take 3 or 4 days for teachers to register. They can collect data from students, and then there's a registration fee of rupees 50 for this. 100 or 50. So those who can afford 100, we are saying they can pay 100, and those who cannot afford, we are saying it's 50. The reason until last year it was free, 2021 it was voluntary. Out of 3,30,000, 7,000 students paid. It's a very small percentage. No wonder freebies work in India and politicians get voted for freebies. So we don't want that freebies culture. We want children to understand that there's a price to everything. Everything comes with a price. That is the fundamental of education. Nothing comes from free, whether you pay by time, resources, money, whatever, but there's a cost to everything. And that is why we are firm. We've seen Venezuela some time back, but our neighbor Sri Lanka is impacted, and many states in India are closer to that. There are lakhs of crores of loans, and they are still continuing the freebies, and that is not a way for a progressive country. That is why, so teachers, if they take owners, headmasters and teachers, they can collect, and using cell phone, it's a simple registration process. You can go to the website www.readindia.info. I'm actually using my cell phone for the connection. The internet would be slow. So here, if it's students, they can click here. Citizens, they can register. All the details are here. It's a simple 4-step sign up initially. They can give name, email, phone number, and password. Email need not be, we want it, basically why we are saying it should be an experience is at least the students should understand what is email. They should create their own email. A lot of teachers said, it is not possible for a 3rd grader or a 5th class student. But this is an information age. They should understand, they should start learning that email communication is something like, future part of roti kapda makan thing. Gadgets, information technology has become a part of us. At least with this, we are hoping that children will create. But if they don't have access, you can just say first name, last name of the child and @school.com. There's no validation. That is one of the reasons. Cell phone, we need teachers, because if the student qualifies to the next round after evaluation, we need that to communicate. So one teacher can, register 50, 100, n number of these things, cell phone. But email, there is a validation because login and password, it has to be unique. From a system point of view, if you can create genuine emails, that is fantastic, because children will learn what is email, and that is an experience for them. Email and password, and then you can give that. Once sign up is accepted, I will quickly show. Yes. Yes. It can be done by the bells. Absolutely, if the parents can do it, parents should take it. If in rural areas, if children do not have access to technology, we would recommend teachers to facilitate. One more thing, not using technology is not the solution, but the right use. We are teaching them the use, but not teaching them how to use it effectively. We have to teach them what is the use of technology also, because they cannot live without technology. We have to help children understand that these are great inventions. Never in the history of humanity we had such great, wonderful, means of communication or technology. These are awesome, unbelievable, tools and means. In a few seconds you can communicate with millions, billions of people. We never had as humans. It's extraordinary, but everything comes like, they were talking failure and success as parallel lines, right? The use and abuse also go together. That is where how to draw the line. That is where education has to come into play. They should be able to discriminate between the use and abuse. And that is a personal responsibility of any individual. No governments in the world can regulate, no parents, no teachers. That is a personal responsibility, a personal journey. Learning is a personal journey, and that is why we want children to understand, So here it gives a message, sign up is accepted. We use that email address. This is the Signbook Dashboard of students. Here you can pay 100 or 50. It accepts UPI or internet banking, any of the payment means available. No other country in the world uses this technology as effectively as India. I worked in North America, South America, many countries in Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific. India is the only country which uses mobile so effectively. The so-called nations could not, but India, it happened in India, right? So things can happen in India if you or the students experiment like you experimented with the Prince Scholars thing when that happened. And that is one of the things I say usually in the workshop that I get beaten. I ask teachers to at least fail once in the class doing something new, whatever it is. When teachers fail in front of students, that acceptance to experimentation happens. As long as that acceptance to experimentation happens, innovation, creativity, problem solving will never occur. The children will go into a shell. They are afraid, there is inhibitions. Okay, what will people think? And that is where it can change. Experimentation is the key. Out of many startups, if you have noticed, India is now the 4th largest startup country. To the unicorns of 1 million club in the recent times. America, China, number 1 and number 2. Right? We have left behind some of the very advanced nations in startups. Why? Because of experimentation. next generation Microsofts, Googles will happen from India if that culture of problem solving starts at the school. This is all about that habit, that culture, and no better stage, no better place than schools at the very young age of 3rd, 5th. If do something new, that's all. If that happens, then kids also start experimenting, start doing something new. Whenever we do something new, there is experience. Where there is experience, there is learning. It is that experience what facilitates learning, not giving, lessons or, that is available. Or, click of a button, it's available these days. That is where I think the real education happens. Just once the payment happens, since the connectivity is slow, it says payment is successful here. And then it takes you to my profile where the school name, class details, they have to fill in few more details. Once that is done, here they can upload files. The two files I talked about, one Word or PDF, we recommend PDF. And the second is the video file. Simple, click on add new files from the cell phone or save and continue. That's the submission done. If children and parents can do it on their own, that itself is an experience because this is something which is going to stay. Future more and more it will be online. File uploaded successfully. Students can go there, teachers can go there, they can verify, they can see that's a logo or document we have uploaded. Now I'm sure you know why we have to do this. There's no better person than you. You understand reading more than anyone else. One of the key advantages of reading is, according to global research and several studies, every successful person in the world is a reader. Every successful person is a reader. And I've done close to 200 workshops in all kinds of schools, colleges, medical, engineering. A lot of students do not know this fact. That reading opens up the mind. Reading diverse books opens up the mind. Otherwise the mind becomes tunneled. I've met with PhDs, I've had the opportunity to meet with a lot of people across the world. If they don't read, their mind is not open, their thinking is a pattern. As long as there's a pattern to thinking, a person can never be progressive. Reading breaks that pattern. The more diverse things we read, arts, history, culture, sports, politics, entrepreneurship, different diverse topics, diverse authors, it opens up, and an open mind is fertile ground for creativity and innovation. And this is a knowledge era, right? We've seen the Industrial Revolution and all those in the past. Any country, if it has to stay ahead of the curve, if the economies have to be good, they have to be knowledge-based economies. Knowledge and innovation will drive economies and individual successes going forward. Everything will be mechanized, automated. If knowledge is not made an asset by an individual, if they do not understand that, right? Knowledge was always the essence of life. All the more in this era, if they do not understand, I think they are risking their success. And that is a message. Sometimes it may seem like threatening, but it's actually a threat. Those who do not upgrade, they become obsolete. Knowledge is a continuum, right? It's a continuous flow, and that is why we are saying a simple formula is reading something new and positive every day for 10 minutes. Out of 24 hours, 10 minutes is not a big deal, but that 10 minutes will transform lives. I have failed in all semesters of engineering. practical example. Every semester of engineering I failed. It is only reading books that took me to different projects, programs. I worked for some of the top companies in the world. It is only because of that reading. And that is why, I am trying to drive this message. And there is no better people than, headmasters and teachers. And whoever I met at the very top, majority of them would carry a book and they say one thing, I've interviewed a lot of people when I had the opportunity, the CXOs or the top, executive leaders who are running the companies around the world. They say learning. Every day we spend some time on learning, being at the very top. And that's been a journey. And that journey has took them to the top, and they are at the top because of the same journey. The moment we stop, that's it. That's an end. And I think, I've taken more time than allotted, but any questions? I hope it was informative. The onus of making India read is on you in very simple terms. No matter circulars are issued, yes, that is all paperwork. I know the government has issued circulars, but if anyone can make it happen, it is you. And nations that do not read, think and act independently can never be progressive. Someone else will think and make use of societies and students. On that note, I will stop here. Any questions on the initiative days or how, submissions or comments on, this initiative? 15th August is the last date for registrations. Submissions close by 30th August. Readindia.info is the website. My name is, the cell phone number is there. The details are also on the website here. So if you go to contact, it is there. Do you think Read India as an experiment is worth experimenting to make India read? Yes? It's worth spreading awareness that every successful person in the world is a leader and an independent thinker. Yes? Can we do this? Are we doing this? Yes? Thank you very much. If there is no more question, I think, I thank once again, Pramod Acharya ji, the Headmasters Association, organizers of this for the wonderful opportunity. And thank you very much for your commitment and ownership to making students read and experience. Thank you.